As I've gone through this health journey, this business journey, spirituality journey, I've shifted a lot of my mindset to focusing on energy. And like the energy that you put out into the universe is also like what you get back, right?
Yep.
And so when I'm thinking about the shit that I've done, whether it's negative or positive, if I dwell on the past, it's not doing anything good for me.
Did people actually go to jail for that?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
sure
dude.
that's how
It's
you
all
get caught.
copyrighted. You
Like,
can't
was
be
it
making
like
money off of it.
I think it's been like 20 years, so don't go after me.
Yeah.
But,
No, you're pretty big now.
He
dude.
only made $20 back
Yeah.
then. It's not worth it,
they're gonna
guys.
recoup that money.
See, the big
For
money makers.
Ratatouille.
It's a brand now. It's a lifestyle. It's everything that I do, from how I eat to the gym to how I make money, how I invest my money. And so people have kind of really bought into the story as to what I'm doing. Champagne.
Nice.
Champagne.
I like that you put it under the table to kind of hide it, and then you're like, I don't know, put it here.
Surprise, it's actually A-Shack.
All right, everybody, welcome to Life of Friends podcast, presented by Vive the Brand. I'm Alex, one of your hosts.
What's going on, guys? I'm Miguel, your other co-host.
What is up, everybody? I am Randy Vialta, Kraken Productions, baby. Today, we have a very special guest, actually somebody we have been waiting for a very long time, Mr. Blake himself, Mr. 428, everybody. Yes, you know, it feels kind of strange, actually, without the headphones.
Without it,
I mean, whatever.
It's a
we'll get used to it.
conversation.
It is a conversation.
It's
This
a
is
normal
really cool.
conversation.
Now I can hear you guys.
Good.
Anyways, Mr. Blake, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Life
Thanks
of
for having me,
Friends.
guys.
Of course. Real quick question. We all have to start because this is something that we've all been wanting to ask you. 428. 428. What is 428?
So the name, Mr. 428. So before I did the Airbnb stuff, and when I started creating content online, it was because I was in the stock and crypto investing space.
Okay.
So I was just doing guerrilla marketing. I didn't have an Instagram, didn't have a TikTok, didn't have any.
What's guerrilla marketing?
Guerrilla marketing meaning like going out on like a Twitter or stock Twits or any of these different websites or platforms and just reaching out to people one-on-one.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
shoot.
Like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm just
bro.
looking for one member to join my community
You
at
mean
a
the
time.
way I DM'd you?
Exactly.
Just a cold DM.
Guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, those cold
alright.
DMs.
Now you
work,
have a
though.
new vocabulary,
Yeah.
guerrilla marketing.
It
You
sounds
heard it
better.
first.
It does, yeah.
Just cold DMs.
So
Marketing, guys.
yeah, so I'm on this forum called Stock Twits, and so it's basically Twitter for stocks. And they kept banning me every single week for just you couldn't market yourself on there. And
Instagram
so,
does that too right now.
Right. So like you couldn't market yourself. So I would just come up with these new nicknames all the time. Nothing ever stuck for longer than a week. And the last time that I got banned, I found this name that I absolutely loved because I was going through the forums and some guy was like, you know, I spend more time in the stock market than you. And the guy goes, nuh-uh, I'm Mr. 428. I wake up at 4 a.m., go to bed at 8 p.m. And it was just like he didn't realize that he just created a monster.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? I was like,
So,
that's how I got it.
So
that
yeah,
guy.
it stayed. Mr. 428 stayed with me forever. You guys probably don't know this because, I mean, how long have you guys been following me? Like maybe a couple months?
Oh, I don't even
I've been following you since,
Actually, I'm going to follow you right now, actually. Cause
I think February or March.
Okay, so years ago, and we can get into more of the story, but I'd built up millions of social media followers with only the picture of Tony Soprano. I'd never showed my face. And now was Mr. 428, like this ethereal
Nobody
Godfather
knew.
being that
Yeah.
nobody knew, and then I still can't believe that people thought that my voice was matched with that picture.
I mean, shit.
I used to drop it low. I'd be like, "Welcome to Stock TikTok," you know, and these guys were like, "Oh my god!"
So you would just use the
That's like-
voiceover, but no,
Correct.
like automation
Well,
type.
I mean, Tony Soprano's a good guy, man.
Yeah.
Don't owe him money.
Hey, actually, rest in peace. I think he died 10 years ago, either today or yesterday.
No shit.
James
R.I.P.
Gandolfini.
Right.
That's right. I saw that.
Let's get a
That's
rip.
right. I did see that. Yeah. R.I.P. baby. Let's go.
Damn. Okay, so that's how the story
Let's go.
started. People that don't know you, pretty much like us too. What exactly do you do? Like, if someone asks you, "Who are you? What do you do?"
Yeah,
in a
so
short term?
I do Airbnb, and I
Okay.
teach people online more specifically about how to do Airbnb, how to buy Airbnb properties, how to do Airbnb arbitrage, and more broadly, how to invest in real estate, how to make money online.
Yeah.
Just more in the money space. And I think that it's kind of expanded more so into, you know, this Mr. 428 thing, and it's a brand now. It's a lifestyle. It's everything that I do, from how I eat to the gym to how I make money, how I invest my money. And so people have kind of really bought into the story as to what I'm doing. And so yeah, I would say as niche as I can be, the majority of the content that I create is around Airbnb stuff.
Yeah, but on your social media, you definitely, like you said, you talk. It's way more than that. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been following you for that long, But from that little amount of time, you have changed a little bit of your content. You're being more personal. You're sharing more of your personal story, background, your family, when before I think it was a little less of that.
Right.
Like, what made that switch? Why all of a sudden are you being more personable and letting people in your life rather than just just Airbnb and real estate,
Yeah, I mean, it's just the content space, as annoying as it sounds to complain about creating content, it becomes exhausting talking about the same thing over
really
and over,
is, yeah.
right? And it's not that that I'm tired of talking about business or real estate or Airbnb, but I do enjoy opening up a little bit. I'm not giving away my home address and my LLCs, but I do, kind of share the struggles, and it's not all wins and all the stuff that you see online. It's people use Instagram and TikTok as like a highlight reel, and so for the normal user that's watching this and they see me posting about a $12,000 booking every single morning and life is so good and jolly and I'm going on a vacation here and there. Yeah, it's great, and that's what a lot of people do to kind of get you invested into the lifestyle, but it's not the reality of it. I still struggle a lot. I have ups and downs too. I have big losses. I've lost big money. I've taken big risks and big chances. And the more that you share that story, I've come to learn online, especially because, I've been in this space now kind of for like three or 4 years doing the social media stuff. The more that you share and let people into your life and you're real. Like, if you're fucking real, people relate to you more.
Damn right.
They're going to stick with you way longer. If you pivot, which I've done before, I went from the stocks to the real estate side of things. Everybody rode with me. If I pivot, in the future, if I'm just more interested in something else and I end up building a business in a different direction, the intention would be that people would follow me and not just fall off like a rapper that has a one-hit wonder or
they don't follow you
LL
for
Cool J,
pretty
where you
much
at? For what
what
you
you're doing
do,
right now. They follow
yeah.
you for the person and how you are, right? Like, they trust that whatever you're gonna do to be successful and keep being disciplined and whatnot.
Hey man, damn message.
That message.
Honestly, no, it's a very big point. I mean, if you remain humble, you just be yourself. Everything else will follow. I like that, man. That's cool. Great to know that.
Yeah, the Airbnb space is crazy right now. For us, I mean, I've thought about it. Going into your Airbnb, I think we've talked about it.
We've spoken about it a couple of times.
So I know you share your knowledge all the time online, but what would you say to some people like us? Like, I don't know, any advice?
Yeah. So, I mean, the best piece of advice is you gotta work backwards, right? Champagne.
Nice.
Champagne.
I like that you put it under the table to kind of hide it, and then you're like, I don't know, put it here.
Surprise, it's actually A-Shock.
Sorry, continue.
No. So I think you got to work backwards when you're doing Airbnb, whether any kind of investing, but more specifically Airbnb. So you got to start with where you got to look at your finances. Where are you at right now? Are you a 22-year-old kid that just got out of college with $5,000 or $6,000 saved up? Are you somebody who's 35, married with a kid that has $100,000 saved up? How much money are you making per year? Because there's a lot of different directions that you can go with things. If you have $0 and you're starting with Airbnb, the best place that you can start would be, number one, consuming as much content as you can on social media, on YouTube. There's a lot of free resources out there.
You give a lot of free resources.
Try and share as much game as possible, but absorb it and really start immersing yourself in the environment, and then start looking at co-hosting. So I teach a lot of different methods of doing Airbnb. There's not just one right way.
Yeah.
But if you have $0, then this is a foolproof method to get started with Airbnb, because let's just say that I knew you and your family, and we built this great relationship, and you guys have this second property in Huntington Beach that you guys do not use. You use it a couple times a year. I come to you with a professional business pitch. I've got this full business plan flushed out. It's zero risk for me, because I'm saying, hey, look, you guys aren't making any money on this property right now. Let me handle this for you. I will set it up. I will, do everything I can. Literally handle all business operations on Airbnb and on VRBO. I'll make sure that I talk to the cleaners and coordinate, anything that needs to happen with the property, listings, bookings, whatever it may be, talking to the guests. It will be zero headache or zero work for you. And all I'm going to charge you is 20 to 30% of the revenue that we make. Sound good?
Yeah.
So now you just pitch them on this concept that, like, hey, this house isn't making you shit. Let me go help you out. And yes, is it difficult to find? Potentially. It doesn't just, you don't have to just go to a friend or a family member. You can find people online. You just have to build trust, because there's a lot of people out there it's just building trust. Now,
The rapport.
And providing value.
Absolutely.
provide value.
to
And
each
you
other.
have to, you
Rapport.
can't just come up to, and I see this happen all the time. If I came up to you and I said, hey, we're friends and we built this relationship a little bit, and I go, hey, I just want to Airbnb your house out. Is that okay? What are you going to say? Hell no. Why
Yeah, it's
would
like,
I?
I don't
No, but if I
know.
came to you with like a pitch deck It's not too difficult to
all nice
understand
and everything.
and say, hey, look, this is the plan. This is what it would look like. Here's exactly on the low end how much you can expect to make. On the high end, what you can expect to make. Here's, we're backed by a $3 million insurance policy through Airbnb's air cover. And you start checking all these things off the list, and they go, well, shit, I can make an extra $4,000 a month not doing anything. So
This sounds good to me.
right, exactly. And so
If I even had a property.
it's always about finding product market fit.
Let's
Now,
start this now, guys.
so the next thing, I mean, you guys are kind of doing it with this space, and you're starting to see how you can arbitrage things, and that's how we move into this to the second.
Yeah, we
part.
are understanding the potential of real estate in general. We knew the potential of real estate in general, but now we're understanding it a little more.
Right. So next, let's talk about Airbnb arbitrage. So this is something I teach a lot about online. Because it's a fantastic way to get your foot in the door and really not only understand the Airbnb game, but get your first properties going and start cash flowing immediately. So here's how the concept works. You go to a landlord, you find a landlord on a Zillow or on a any kind of forum, a Facebook marketplace, right? Like anybody that has a home for rent, and you sign a long-term lease as if you're just signing it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
As if you're going to live there. But there is an aspect to that where you have a professional pitch to the landlord, and you pitch them on the idea of subleasing their property. So what we're doing, it's 100% legal. We're not just like saying, hey, can I rent your property out?
And then not telling
and then
them.
doing some bullshit, right? So and not telling them, because that's how you're going to get in trouble. But there is a way to pitch these guys in a professional manner and to seem, to really be a legitimate business. And then we're going to sublease these properties on Airbnb, on VRBO, on Furnished Finder, all these different websites, and arbitrage or take the money that's the gap in between what you're spending and what you're making. So if the rent was $2,000 per month and my expenses were another $500 on top of that between Airbnb, utilities, trash, whatever it may be, and we charge, again, this is just math off the top of my head. It's completely wrong, but let's just say I was charging $300 a night or $250 a night, and I was
accurate
for about 70% average occupancy, because that's what we target, with all my students and I. 70% minimum is our average occupancy. So about 21, 22 days of the month should be rented on average. So you just do that math, 21, 22 days times $250, $300, right? You make $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and you take the money in between.
You're not even paying, you're just renting.
Exactly. So you don't own the property. You don't need a ton of upfront capital. You don't need great credit to get started. And this is why it's one of the best business models to start in the number one asset class in the world, which is real estate.
Yeah, so I've heard of Airbnb arbitrage before. Would you recommend that for, let's say someone that's like even younger or someone that's older that doesn't have much money, but they don't want to do it on their own? Would you recommend doing it with other people to start off, or not really?
So one of the things that's great about my community that I kind of built up is there are a lot of people, there's two different types of people out there. You're either somebody that has money and not a lot of time, or time and not a lot of money. So it's great when you can say, hey, I'm one of the two, I'm one of the other, and meet in the middle, and then come to some sort of agreement, right?
Okay.
And that's a great way to get started for the person, especially that has the time but no money. In general, though, I would say I would encourage you to start it by yourself, but not technically by yourself. Here's the thing that not a lot of people tell you about. I've built at least the way that I build my businesses, and that a lot of other people in this space do too, but it's just kind of this unknown thing nobody really talks about, is utilizing like friends and family and everybody else that you can to help out in this business model. Right. So I'll give you an example. You don't want to start just by yourself with, let's say you have $10,000 saved up. You go find a property for rent that's $2,500 a month, $2,500 for the first month's security deposit, another $5,000 to furnish the property. It's a one bed, one bath. Okay. If you want to go set this thing up by yourself for the first time, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
All of this shit's coming in on different days. You're stuck in this, maybe in your city or another city or out of state for a couple weeks because you're just trying to figure everything out. When you can bring, if you have the ability to bring a girlfriend, a brother, a friend, a family member, a cousin, hire a helping hand like a TaskRabbit or any of these types of people that are going to make your life easier. That's how the game works, and that's how I've actually been able to, a lot of people. It's up for debate whether or not I retired my parents, because my mom.
We were just talking about that actually.
It's up for debate, right? So I technically retired them for about 7 days.
You're like, all right, let's come on.
Right.
But technically, if like right now, if your parents didn't want, like if you didn't have to hire your parents to help you work in the family business, right? They pretty much you could probably hire somebody else and have your parents kind of.
For sure, exactly. And so, and that's exactly it. So that the concept behind that was my mom was a bookkeeper for Costco. She'd wake up at 3:30 a.m. every single morning, go to Costco. For I think 25 years of my life, 34, 35 years of her life. I can't remember exactly how long.
A long time.
3:30 a.m. every single morning. And then she would take her lunch break at 7 o'clock so she could come cook us, breakfast
7 a.m.? Oh my
and drive us to school. And then she was done when we got done with school, and she would pick us up from school. So, that's why I have such a big respect for my family and my parents, because we didn't have a lot growing up.
Mm-hmm.
We were just your average middle class family. My parents had to work these, fucked up hours. But the amazing thing was they did absolutely everything in their ability to give us the best life possible, right? The best life that we possibly could, the best quality of life with the cards that we were dealt and with education and everything that we had. And so when I had the opportunity to, I had two choices. I could just retire them, pay off their houses, pay off all debts. I was in a position financially where they literally never have to work again. I can buy them a new house, new cars, everything, and be fine. Or it's very boring being retired, in my opinion. I don't believe in
it. Actually, I met an Uber driver who was a teacher, and he retired, and now he's a pilot. I mean, not a pilot. He's a flight attendant.
Exactly.
I'm driving Uber because he says, I was bored. He's like, for 5 years I was retired after school, and he's like, I'm bored. He's like, I want to travel and do Uber to talk to people. I'm like, okay, so retirement is boring.
It is, and so I believe in the concept of not retirement, but more so just being able to take maybe however much time it is for you to take away, or just build the next part of your life around the lifestyle that you want to live.
Yeah.
My dad wants, we're from Central California where there's nothing but cows, dairies, farms. And so my dad grew up, he would work at UPS in the night shift the same time my mom would, and he'd get off just in time so he could drive 2 hours to go surf or snowboard. So now that we're down here, and so they live by me down at the beach here.
Now.
They love it. And so, all right, my dad wants to surf, and he's really good with his hands. My mom wants to hang out and just be a part of the business, and she's great at bookkeeping. I would have to hire these jobs out anyways. She's great at management, all the shit that I'm terrible at. And so what I've done now is, kicked up their pay times whatever. Basically, I was like, name your price essentially.
Yeah.
Whatever it's going to take for you guys to live, double it, and you guys will be straight forever. But I just need help, help with the day-to-day tasks running the businesses, because, when you get to a certain level of net worth, I would say probably I probably should have done it earlier, maybe the early millions, but I think right around past 10 million net worth is when I realized that time was way more important than money. And so I was, with the stock stuff and with the whole Mr. 4-to-8 thing originally, I was still trading my time for money. It was no different than when I was serving takeout or when I was working at the car dealership or all these shitty jobs that I hated. Now I'm just doing a job that I like, but kinda, and for 16, 18 hours a day. Fuck
Sheesh.
that, right? It was too much for me. It got to a point where I recognized, okay, what do the best operators in the world do, and what am I bad at? And what I was bad at was hiring. What I was bad at was delegating tasks. What I was bad at was setting up systems and operations. And so bookkeeping and all these things that I thought that I should do by myself.
Yeah.
I was like, if I don't do it, then it's not going to be done right. False.
It's like, I suck at all this.
Actually, I don't do it now, and it's done way better.
Yeah.
So now my day-to-day, I probably spend 10 to 15 minutes, I say a week on my Airbnb stuff, because technically speaking, I don't have to, I have operators in place.
Yeah.
I no longer have to manage that part of my business, and I can focus on creating content, adding value to people's lives, creating tweets and videos and all that shit. And so it's kind of it's where we're at today.
That's actually a question that I have. So obviously you're a very successful guy, multi-million dollars, whatnot. I think on your bio you make like $175K in passive income a month, right? So
that's in revenue. I want to correct that. So my Airbnb business does about 100 as of now. I've got a pretty big deal coming up that I want to share on here, but we're under. Yeah,
you don't need to say. You don't need to say. You're good, bro.
Yeah, I signed an NDA on it, but it'll be public soon. But anyways, as of now, currently, I do about $175,000 a month in revenue on Airbnb, which turns out to be anywhere between $75,000 to $80,000 a month in profit.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
bro, that's like people's salary a year. That's insane. Which is what you teach on your Instagram story and whatnot. For me following you, that you teach with one or two Airbnb property, you could literally take away your 9 to 5 job off one property. I kind of lost track of my question I had. Yeah, well, we'll move on. Go ahead.
I'll move on. Actually, I did have a question. I did want to touch up on, like, Airbnbs and stuff. I heard on the news, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people, a lot of cities and states are cracking down on, like, Airbnb properties and whatnot. I mean, do you have any feedback on that, or how you...
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, so, like, as of this week, Dallas just cracked down and banned short-term rentals. There's a little bit more technicalities to it, but... as it stands, so let's be clear on, like, the definition of what a short-term rental is. A short-term rental is any place that you rent out for 30 days or less. Okay,
That's short-term?
that's a short-term rental.
Damn.
So anything that's longer than that, which there is a business for, is considered a midterm rental. There's models like corporate housing where you would rent out your property for 1 month to 4, 5, 6 months at a time to a traveling nurse, traveling doctor, somebody who's in the education system, somebody whose house burned down and the insurance company is going to place them in a home, right? So there is different business models and that you can pivot to if your city bans short-term rentals. So right now, like in Chicago's and New York's and stuff like that, that's how you can operate. Now, there's like 1 or 2 places like a Honolulu where they literally say, hey, look, we are not allowing short-term rentals at all, or medium-term rentals. 180 days or less, banned.
Nothing.
So, but other than that, though, it's free game. And so here's what people need to understand about rules and regulations, because they're always going to be changing. There's in terms of the Airbnb space, there's always going to be changing rules and regulations, city council meetings, places getting banned, places getting restricted. What people don't understand, though, is there's still going to be that same demand to travel there, right?
Yeah, people are still going to travel.
So think about what you just did, just the basic concept, the basic economic concept of supply and demand. If you restrict the supply of places that are available to rent, then the demand is still going up, or tracking the same. Then the price is going to go up that you could charge per night. In theory, making it more money you could make per year. So the trick around this is, and this happens in a lot of different places. I tell the story all the time. My roommate is currently trying to get a property in Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia. If you Google it, you're going to see something that says, like, there's rules and regulations here. Short-term rentals are banned. And so to the person who Googles it, they're going to say, I can't do short-term rentals in Savannah. Next. Well, here's the truth. Get on the phone, and this is one of the best pieces of advice that I give to people that are trying to understand.
Guerrilla marketing. No.
Exactly. I mean, seriously. A lot of it comes down to getting on the phone sometimes, and not a lot of people want to do it. So take that step. So here's the deal. If a city says that there's regulations or rules, or it's banned, or you're really interested in an area and you just want to know more about it and skip past the bullshit that you see online, find 5 real estate agents in that city, call them and tell them, hey, I'm an out-of-state real estate investor. I buy Airbnbs. I rent Airbnbs. I'm trying to understand the policies here. What's the word? And what a lot of times is going to happen is 3 or 4 of them may not have a single clue what they're talking about, and you can just smell the bullshit. Yeah. But one of them is going to go, oh man, here you go. Here's the deal. You can't be on State Street. You can't go all the way down to First or Second. They really just are trying to keep you out of downtown. Everything else in the unincorporated area is free ball, free game, and let me help you out with some properties. That's the trick.
And then you build a connection with them.
Specific areas is what you're
saying. A lot of times, and even more specifically.
This man's a genius, dude.
Well, I mean, clearly.
What the fuck?
Oh,
yeah,
actually,
there's always loops around everything.
Holy shit,
and that's what he's saying.
Exactly.
There's always loopholes.
You know what?
Yeah.
It seems like it all starts off with guerrilla marketing.
All I heard was guerrilla marketing.
I'm gonna keep using that word now, because now I actually have a term to it.
Hey, you come to the art show. Hey, you come to the.
I remember my question now. So obviously you're a successful guy, whatnot. You technically don't have to be on social media to teach, everybody, share knowledge or whatnot, or you call it mentees, right?
Yeah.
Your mentor. Why do you do that? Like, you don't have to do it. Are you doing it because you really want to help someone, or like what? Why are you doing that?
I think the no bullshit answer is money.
Yeah. Okay.
The no bullshit answer is money. There's a lot of money to be made, and a lot. So when we go back to what I was talking about a second ago, is I now value my time at like a certain dollar per hour.
Yeah.
Just because I know that hey, if I go waste 6 or 7 days doing bullshit, or like only working with 2 or 3 students, I'm not having the same impact that I can have both monetarily and on the amount of students that I can help.
Yeah.
So for me, realistically, the best thing that I can do is create one product once, sell it forever, and then have a more immersive community that they can get into with other coaches, including myself, where, hey, we do coaching calls, we do this, we do that. We have, we teach people, we have thousands of testimonials, thousands of students that have gone through the program. can impact way more lives this way and make a lot more money doing this.
You're literally changing a lot of people's lives. I mean, I see it all, and I'm like, damn.
You know,
my turn.
But one of the things that I want to touch on too, because I've never really talked about this out loud.
Okay.
You're gonna hear this all the time. The reason why I said no bullshit answers, because a lot of people, when you ask them that are in this course selling and this guru space, that have a large audience, they're gonna tell you to only to impact lives. Yeah. It's totally bullshit. It's a multi-million-dollar business for me and for all, a lot of these other guys as well. So it is to impact as many lives as possible, but it's also there to make a grip of money. But at the end of the day, you have to have gone out and really done what you say that you're doing, and you've built the great thing that I've done, and a couple other people online have done it too, versus a lot of these guys that just are shilling one thing to the next, is really building in public. And so one of the best pieces of advice I can give to anybody, and you guys are doing it too, is just building in public. Show the small wins, show the small losses, show all the shit that you go through early on, because what's going to happen is 1 or 2 years down the line, you're going to get to a position where you are making a couple $1,000s a day, where you do have this skill that you can teach people that helps them make money or whatever it may be. For me, I'm in the money making space. So I learned this skill that helps me make money, but early on it wasn't like that. So because I documented that, now I can go back and say, hey, look, this is where I was 2 years ago. Here's where I was today. It's relatable, and then people are fully invested in your story and more so invested in your program and what you're teaching.
We've talked about that, where you prefer
you preach that all the time.
I love to show everybody everything. He
Yeah.
likes to stay more in silent, and when the moves happen, then we showcase it. I'm like, same thing. Show everything. Show from how we started from our cars in our apartment, record everything, and then I have that picture. I have a video of
those are the best. I wish the one single regret that I have about this whole journey from when I started, and even beforehand, because I'd been doing entrepreneurship my whole life, from middle school on up, right? So I wish that I had more documentation. I got a couple of videos of me talking to my car saying that I'm gonna be a millionaire when I was 14 or 15.
there we go.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And that shit's dope. But I just look, the other guy that's doing it really well right now, Iman Godzi, he's on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
he's crushing it, right? He's blowing up, a couple million subscribers. But one thing that he did well was when he didn't have anything, and when he was just starting out telling his story, he was on YouTube talking about, hey, here's my current situation. Here's where I'm going to be one day. As of now, I got to take the bus. As of now, I got to ride the bike. As of now, I don't have enough money for dinner. But one day we're going to be here. And slowly but surely, he keeps referring back to it. And you go, fuck, man, I'm there. At some point in the process, everybody's there.
Everybody's there.
Everybody's either at the bottom or at some stage that you were at.
I was saying too, some people ask me guerrilla marketing, why I keep messaging.
He's gonna get a plaque now and just put it right up there.
Well, because I do DM a lot of people. I do DM a lot of people with a paragraph and stuff like that. And people are like, why do you keep doing it? I was like, well, I bet you these people were at one point where I'm at today. Yep. And if I keep talking in a certain way, they're like, okay, you know what? I was at one point. I understand the hustle and the grind. So it's that's why we do, guerrilla marketing.
He's not gonna forget that. Wow. Thanks.
Okay. One of the things I had. So you're wearing the represent keychain over here.
Can you show us real quick? What is?
I think this is represent.
Yeah, that's the 247, right?
That's it. Yeah.
So we love represent, obviously, for clothing brand owner and whatnot. I love George Heaton. I follow George Heaton. I don't follow Represent, but I love everything that George Heaton does. And we saw you at Curl Fitness maybe a year ago wearing a 247 tank top, and that was the first time ever in California, United States, that we saw someone wearing Represent. So that's why it kind of stuck out.
Interesting.
And then later on, I see you on Blues Cruise's story, and I'm like, and he was like, wait, I think that's the guy.
That's the guy. I told you. That's
the
guy from
that's
Curl
the guy.
Fitness.
So that's how it kind of all connected.
That's the guy.
That's the guy. That's the Represent
I'm the guy.
You're the guy. You're the guy.
I'm George.
Yeah. Fun fact, I'm George.
Well, that's me, actually.
So obviously you follow George Heaton, you love Represent, and I feel like you have similar discipline to what George Heaton does as well. So would you kind of think of him as an inspiration?
Totally.
Or a mentor in some shape or form?
Yeah, so Gio is a different beast. I would say that we're not even on the same plane when it comes to discipline.
He's freaking insane.
The way that he operates is on another level, right? And it's on the level of world class entrepreneurs. I think he just said the other day that, Rep will do $80 million this year in revenue.
He's an elite. He's elite.
Elite. And it's literally no days off, and it's so disciplined in every aspect, down to the way that he eats, no alcohol, working out 2 to 3 times a day, or 2 times a day, building a brand, hiring a CEO. Like, one of the best things that they did from a business perspective was, like, he talked about hiring a CEO, because when you're in a creative business where you are the visionary, you're the person, his brother comes up with the designs and he comes up with the fit and the aesthetic and all that stuff. It's really hard to give up creative control, or just control in general. And that's like what I was talking about a second ago with my business. I got to that level where after a certain net worth and a certain, my time, recognizing what my time was worth, delegating becomes, the biggest task. Gio was one of the biggest inspirations for me in not just business, but in life and in lifestyle.
Yeah.
There's a couple other people out there that I look up to as well in different aspects, but I mean, he's got to be like top 3, and we go back and forth, and we're friends online and stuff. So
I fucking love that. That's crazy. Yeah, I follow him, and I try to also be similar discipline and mindset as George Heaton. Obviously, nothing close. I
have some off days. I have some bad days.
Some off days. Yeah, yesterday I had a burger and stuff.
Yeah, right. Oh, but and you know what though? To be fair though, and I would say maybe one of my critiques to the way that maybe he operates versus how I operate is, I would say that my life. I think he's probably more like 99%, 99-1, where 99% on and 1% off. Like he had his one off day, like at Coachella, right?
Yeah,
just
barely,
like for a day,
yeah.
And this is just, I don't know if this is actually it, but just from, he documents his lifestyle, I document mine, and mine's more like 80-20, where I really do value my time. Like, I really do value spending quality time with friends and family and traveling. I don't mind going out and having a few drinks every once in a while. I love the Black Cherry White Claw.
Can you get a White Claw, please? We actually have one.
Bring it out.
There you go. Bring them out. Bring them out.
So this is the 20 I was talking about.
Look at that.
There it is. Oh, dude.
Wow.
You know what? I should be sponsored by these guys.
You should, honestly.
Yeah, seriously.
White Claw, if you're watching this.
Yeah, there you go.
Cheers, fella.
Hey, cheers. Yes.
Cheers. Look at that.
But in all fairness, I do. One of the questions that haunts me, like literally haunts me, is no matter what age you are, whether you die at 40 or you die at 80 or you die at 20. There you go. You die at 22. I would hate to be on my deathbed and have regrets of not doing anything or not pushing life to the hardest I could do it in my business, with relationships, with family, with trips, with travel, with experiences. Like, I don't want to have any regrets. And so there is a push-pull of sometimes like, yeah, could I have stayed in on Saturday and worked, or could I have not gone to Italy and done like a 1-week vacation? Would I have made more money in my business?
Probably,
yes or no,
yeah,
but also
absolutely.
you should structure your businesses in a way that they operate without you, because if your businesses don't operate without you, then you're not a business owner, you're an operator.
Yeah.
So hire operators, own the business, put stuff in place so that when, like tonight, my buddies texted me and they're like, hey, Dodgers versus Angels, let's go to the game. Perfect. Yesterday, buddies, hey, you want to go play Pelican Hill? Awesome. Like, I try and keep open mind and do as much stuff as possible without ruining or with just staying consistent in my business, so it keeps me as mentally healthy as possible.
Nice,
too much business. I did the
Yeah.
too much business thing for 2.5 years, where literally I barely talked to my girlfriend, barely talked to my parents. Only thing I was living at home with them when I first started my businesses.
The
So
girlfriend one, I'm sure, is tough too. In that
tough. It was brutal. I mean, luckily she understood at the time like what I was building, and I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, look, this is what's happening. This is my one chance to make something of myself, like early on. So I gotta fucking go for it. So I did that, and I worked, and I got to a point where I'm at now, which is I think go hard early, burn out early. You gotta experience what that burnout's like. I'm sure you guys have felt the burnout.
Yeah.
It fucking you gotta kind of get there where you go.
I mean, these bags don't appear for no
Do you
reason.
regret that though? Like,
Hell no.
as in, like, no, not at all.
Not zero chance.
Okay.
I wasn't going to the gym. I was barely eating, and I have zero fucking regrets.
Fuck yeah.
I like zero regrets.
Yeah.
I can get in shape. Like, I got back in shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
it only took me a year to get it back on the train.
Yeah.
But when you recognize that you have a leg up on anybody, whether in any aspect of business, if you see a place to make an asymmetric bet, meaning there is maximum upside with very little downside potential, how much lower could I have fucking gone than living with my
Damn.
parents, being on EBT,
Yeah.
having literally nothing going for me? How much lower can I go versus I see an opportunity to build this thing online? Maybe I'm not the best at it. Maybe I'm not built for social media, but fuck, I'm going to go for it.
That's like go
You know
all
what I mean?
in.
Man.
All in. And hammer it while it's on, because if you don't strike while the fire's hot, you're gonna come and go. Like I said, like a one-hit wonder or like an NBA athlete that could just sign a rookie contract that
And then
blows his
that's it.
ACL.
Yeah.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
Jesus.
You don't even hear
Momentum.
momentum.
That's our
Don't
reel
blow
right there.
ACL, bro.
Right,
Yeah.
that was
That's
wow.
momentum
That's
right
a
there.
reel right there.
And there, sip with the White Claw.
Jesus with the
Sip with the White Claw.
wow, bro. Hey, that's very inspiring, man. Honestly, just in the past 30 minutes, I've learned so much about just how to run something.
Yeah.
It's very inspirational because I'm struggling with a lot of things. So I own my sound business as well, and there's a lot of things that I struggle with. And you mentioning about I'm good at this, but I'm not good at that, this, and that. So you hire someone, you
Right.
get someone to do it. Message.
Boom.
Honestly,
Message.
that's incredible, bro.
So do you have a girlfriend now? Or you
I do not know.
Okay, so now you're a single man.
Single man. Got out of a 5-year relationship, so
Shit.
yeah, single
Well.
man.
Okay. Is it hard to date, or socialize, being more successful and being more busy and whatnot?
You know what? One of the. It's funny because I got a couple friends that do the whole Miami lifestyle, which I just can't stand.
Yeah.
I say Miami lifestyle, you know exactly what I'm talking
of
about.
course, of course.
You just have to say
Yeah.
Miami. We just know.
It's
I just say
Miami.
and you guys know.
It's like that.
Let me cut you there.
And there, and look, there's two different ways to look at things. There's if you're not careful, somebody may be out there to take advantage of you. I feel like I can see through that. I haven't had to deal with that yet.
Yeah.
I am I'm open to dating, and I think that having a strong person in your corner is great. My last partner that I was with was amazing and so supportive through a time where a lot of tears, a lot
Yeah.
of fucking just weeks where I couldn't be around, months where I couldn't be around, but I was building something and she believed in me. And so I think finding a partner, whether it be a business partner or a romantic partner, when you're somebody like myself or you guys that are business driven and just business minded and go
Mm-hmm.
if you find the right partner, it's like pouring jet fuel on a tiny little fire.
Yeah.
It's gonna take you so much farther because that belief, that energy, somebody to bounce ideas off of, somebody that's not gonna go steal shit from you, that you can fully trust with
Or put you
everything
down.
or put you down, it is gonna be one of the best things that can happen for you.
What is one of the craziest stories you've had? Airbnb, whatnot, rentals. I'm sure you've had some crazy
An
stories.
Airbnb nightmare.
Airbnb nightmare.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
craziest Airbnb nightmare.
All right.
Airbnb nightmare, dude.
This is without a doubt my biggest Airbnb nightmare.
Oh, here we go.
It is not even. It is
Brace
bar
yourself.
none, not even close. We've had fires. We've had crazy shit. You
It's
get
worse than a fire.
oh,
you
you get
kidding me?
meth heads. You get eight dudes named. You get 8 dudes
I don't
named.
know.
I'm
you
all
get-
ears for this one, man.
You got a little 1-bedroom and 8 to 10 dudes named Carl coming in there. And you just see bongs and just lube and you already know. Seriously, they turn your
8
house.
guys there.
Bongs and lube.
I'm telling you, I mean,
One.
you just know that, and well, there's no problem with that, but the problem is if it's a 1-bedroom and they say that there's 2 people there, you're just like, oh shit, and then the sheets are all, it gets messy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This is the worst, and without a doubt, the worst thing that's ever happened to me on Airbnb. One of my first properties that I bought was in Florida, and I bought it.
Florida. Enough
dude.
said.
Come on.
Miami.
It's always a Florida man. Oh, Jesus.
So one of the first properties
Found a
I
crocodile inside.
there you go, of course,
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee. So we see, I bought this house. I got a really good deal on it. The seller was super old, and he'd been building it forever. This is kind of maybe mid 2021 or late 2021. The reason why I bought it was it had a pool on the roof, tiny pool, but think like a hot tub, but on the roof. So in this area in Florida, this really stuck out because everybody else had these pools on the ground, but this had a pool on the roof and it was by the beach.
Wow.
So I'm like,
Okay.
man,
Yeah.
I scored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There you
talked this
go.
guy down. I think from I want to say 2 million or 2.1 million down to 1.67 or
That's a
1.69.
big
Oh,
jump.
wow.
So and I'm like, damn, I scored on this house, and I get there. I bought it. One of the things because it was everything was moving so fast in my business. I basically had somebody go out, video it, send me pictures and stuff. Had everything I needed, and I bought it almost basically sight unseen. So I bought this multi-million-dollar property, not really knowing all these weird
Yeah,
kinks
nothing
and
at
shit
all.
that's
You're
gonna
just
go
no,
wrong.
let's take it.
thank God that my other businesses were making enough income every month to cover this nightmare, because for the last 2 years, up until 3 weeks ago, 2 years I haven't been able to rent this house out on Airbnb.
Damn.
My mortgage and my expenses every single month are about $10,000 a month, and so I was eating that shit. And the reason why is because we spent so much time, energy, and money. This pool always fucking leaks. Leaks through the house.
I was gonna say,
Of course,
it leaks.
roof.
Well, the guy that built it was in his 80s.
Florida, man.
Yeah, in his 80s. He used to be a contractor. He kind of had everybody sign off on shit. They said he had dementia. And so a lot of stuff was just done wrong.
I can tell.
And so we tried a million different ways. To get this thing to work. And so finally we ended up just having to cover it. So, yeah, covered it. Now it's renting on Airbnb, thank God. But, man, imagine if I wasn't, I would have been belly up.
Yeah, you would have done.
Is that pool still up there? Is it? They're just.
Oh, it's still up there. Yeah. It's up there. It's just covered now.
It's just covered. Yeah.
Can we go there without Airbnb? Just
Can we
to hang
swim?
out? Can we just
To
go
swim?
Can we just go? Let's
Just
go.
go on a roof,
Should we just go?
Just want to be in the hot tub, man.
I just need to see this property firsthand. So let me just.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Okay, now to touch up on basis on going the worst nightmare, I did also have another question. You mentioned earlier that you've been doing entrepreneurship for as long as you can remember. What's your first?
Oh, since middle school.
Yeah, since middle school. What's your first like entrepreneurial thing that you were doing?
Man, there's a lot.
Like,
So,
what were you
like-
slinging?
Yeah,
What
what were you slinging,
Yeah,
because
bro?
we all
think
have
that-
these stories, you know.
the fact of the matter is, there's a direct correlation between the kids that sold gum and candy out
Exactly.
of their backpack
Exactly.
that are
Sandwiches.
entrepreneurs now.
I sold Beyblades
Yeah.
There you go.
from the U.S. to France.
Bakugan. There you go.
Bakugan.
Yu-Gi-Oh
Remember
cards.
Bakugans? You roll out.
Of course.
So is that what you did?
No, so I think my first real memory of like making money or like of doing anything entrepreneurial was back when there was LimeWire.
Oh,
And
CDs,
so this
baby.
is like elementary school days.
That's what I did too.
LimeWire, and then there was a torrenting website called Pirate Bay where you
Yes.
could download illegal movies
Yeah.
and illegal songs and shit. So I was just tech savvy at that at that age in elementary school. This is probably later elementary school, but I would just burn CDs and sell them for a couple bucks, or because I knew if I went to Target, I bought a pack of CDs. They cost $20. And then per disc, go sell for $2, make some money, or go trade my neighbors these movies that they couldn't get that somebody was filming with a camera inside.
Right.
You know?
That's so
Here
People
we go.
standing up.
Yeah, right.
You see all
That's
that?
so
Don't worry about
funny.
that. Don't worry about that.
Remember, you used to get those pirate you're going to jail if you pirate movies.
Oh yeah. Look
I
at me
was always
now,
I
huh?
was always like, fuck.
Did people actually go to jail for that?
Oh, for sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
dude.
That's how
It's
you
all
get caught.
copyrighted. You
Like,
can't
was
be
it like
making
a
money off of
thing?
it.
I think it's been like 20 years, so don't go after me.
Yeah.
But
No,
no,
you're
so
pretty big now.
You
There
only
we go.
made $20 back
Yeah.
then. It's not worth it,
they're gonna
guys.
recoup their money.
See, the big
From
money
Ratatouille.
makers.
No, but I think that, and then I had a lawn mowing business for my neighbors where it was called ROCHA Lawn Care, and it had a tagline: "You grow it, we mow it." And I made it. I made it on my card on Microsoft Paint, and we print it out on regular paper and just go give it to the neighbors.
Like, here you go.
And they give me like $20 a month.
Sick, dude.
But by the end of it, like going into middle school, I had all the little neighbor kids mowing lawns
Right.
for
Yeah.
me.
And then you just collect like the
Yeah,
cash from
yeah.
them,
I was just
bro.
like, give you $10.
So you're in a business owner, and then you got operators.
Yeah, so
Fucking
that was.
There
Huh?
you go.
I'd always.
Genius, I tell you. Look at this guy.
That's awesome.
you all right, man. I
Well,
like
this
it.
is where he's at. You know, like you said, they started off young, and then they're all entrepreneurs now.
Damn, bro, dude.
We're actually gonna wrap it up somewhat soon, but we have a rapid fire segment or lightning round. We'll just ask questions, just answer them right off the top of your head. We'll go from this way.
like
and
one
then-
word or.
No, just like no. You could, it could be a sentence.
As long as
Two
you
words
want.
max.
I don't know. No, you can say a whole sentence and whatnot.
Say a paragraph if you like.
Yeah.
Right.
Start off here. If you had to be an animal, what would it be?
Bird.
Whoa. Shit, that was quick.
Think about this a lot, man. You
Yeah,
ever see
Yeah, think about the show.
a lot of free time.
We were talking about it earlier.
I've totally been buying my time back. All I think about all day is
It's
birds.
Like, what
animal would I be?
If I could be another being, what would it be? A bird? Why a bird? What type of bird?
I just think, I think flying is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when you ever go to like the Grand Canyon or like Yosemite and you just see an eagle
Mm,
cruising, they don't have,
cruising
they're not even
through.
Raise the
flapping. They're
bird.
just.
Yeah, they're just fucking cruising.
Yeah,
Cruising.
they're not even flapping.
So you'd be a
huh?
bird, you'd be an eagle, you said? Like an eagle? Or what
I
kind
think
of bird?
so. An eagle or a parakeet, like a house bird.
Okay. Just in a cage.
I said I would be a golden doodle in a nice Newport family.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got it made. Eating
Yeah, I got
good.
it made. My life is
Or like
amazing.
feeding you
Or a
ribeyes.
corgi. Or a corgi. Yeah.
Feeding you
What about you guys?
I would be.
Oh, man. Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know.
Randy said he would be a
I
shrimp.
should be a shrimp, like a
Maybe
krill,
a shrimp?
just like chilling in the ocean, just like sitting there, just like doing nothing. You know?
That terrifies
I'd
me.
probably be a dolphin.
Yeah,
A dolphin. Dolphin would be cool now. just like
dolphin be
swimming
sick.
around, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Laughing
And you're
at
in a
sharks.
pod, you're with the squad all the time.
Yeah,
You're with the
exactly.
squad.
Your
And they're
homies
smart as
jumping,
fuck too. You know,
I saw a video of
Yeah.
what are those animals? It's like a balloon, like in the water. A
Beluga
pufferfish.
whale?
Oh, a pufferfish.
Apparently, like dolphins, freaking.
They play volleyball
They
with
play
them.
volleyball with the pufferfish because
See, I'd be playing volleyball
because
while you guys are
that's
over here
fucked up,
getting
bro. You're using
fed.
another animal to play volleyball, but because
is
it
it though?
releases toxins for them to get high.
So you'd be
They're
fucking
mad
getting
heads.
high with
They're
the
mad
squad.
heads, yeah.
Yeah, I would be getting high.
Next question, Randy. Go ahead.
If you could eat one meal for your last meal, what would it be?
A ribeye steak or carne asada tacos.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say your bowl that you make.
Yeah, the Blake Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell us-
Blake Bowl.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that.
Actually,
real
what
quick.
is a Blake Bowl?
So I eat the same food basically every single day because I have celiac disease and a lot of other food allergies. So and then also I actually genuinely enjoy eating the
Okay.
way that I eat. So what I do for
I mean,
breakfast
I would
most
eat
of the
steak every
time
day too. Shit.
is like gluten-free oats with fruits, turkey patties sometimes, some peanut butter. It's usually like just breakfast and some strawberries, blueberries, bananas. Lunch every single day I make this bowl that I call the Blake Bowl because all my friends, they're the homies that I live with, they eat the same bowl every day. Like started to catch on in my friend group.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, dude, that's Blake's bowl." And so I made a video, or I started sharing it on Instagram, like my lunch every day. And all of a sudden, people thought I was like a nutritionist. They're like, they stopped caring about Airbnb and wanted to know.
You're like, I'm just having autoimmune disease.
Yeah. I was like, I have to eat this. But anyways, it's just white rice. Everything's organic. So white rice, ground beef, 1 pound of ground beef, arugula, avocado. It's cooked in ghee with.
What is ghee?
Ghee's like
It's like a butter.
Yeah, it's like a butter, but
Okay.
it's clarified butter.
Okay.
So
A little better.
yeah, am I missing
1
anything
pound
else?
of ground beef.
Pound of ground beef for lunch.
Damn,
I
that's a
do
shit ton of
2
protein.
pounds of meat a day. So pound of ground beef for lunch and a pound of steak for dinner.
Dude, you had
Now,
me
do
at rice.
you use 93.7 ground beef or what's the percentage?
85-15.
85-15.
Keep it
Okay.
thick.
Yeah, you got to put at least like 15% of fat in there
Okay.
There you go.
for the flavor,
Mhm.
Miguelo, next question.
If you had a place to live, would it be desert, city, or what?
Oh wow. Shit. I think.
Ooh, that's a great question for the Airbnb
No water?
person.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I think. Man, forever. Fuck, dude. This is a tough question.
He's
man.
like
That's
someone who travels every
definitely
freaking
not the
time.
desert.
Damn.
Yeah.
For sure, not the desert.
Now, when I say city, I also mean suburbs too, like suburban city.
Yeah, probably suburban city. I mean, I
Okay.
grew up in one, so just I would probably do that. I
Yeah.
think that anywhere that you're too isolated, like the desert or the woods, you start to go fucking nuts.
You go
I
crazy.
agree. Yeah.
You go fucking
So-
crazy. Actually, no, Randy, I forgot. Go
Wow.
ahead, bro. Sorry.
If you could choose one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh.
I think teleport. You ever seen Jumper?
Oh, yeah.
I love
Of
Jumper's such a
course.
sick movie.
Dude,
Dude,
isn't it so
such a sick
upsetting
movie.
that they didn't make a second one?
I think
Yeah,
it was
bro.
Anakin Skywalker played him.
That's
too,
what- yeah,
right?
that's
one
what
of
it
those
was.
dudes. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that
Because he
movie was
became
sick.
Darth Vader, bro. They couldn't make a second one.
I thought flying for a long time, but then when I saw Jumper, I was like, yeah,
Dude, that's
all I
it.
have to do is look at a postcard of
Yeah, right?
of France. And
Go to Red Dead,
Imagine just
go to
closing your
Egypt.
eyes and just being there.
I really
Yeah.
want them to make
Bro,
a second
epic.
one, honestly.
I just got back from New York City, and taking the subways is kind of like Jumper.
Yeah, right?
You go down to one side, you're probably like, shit, I'm in Chinatown.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Wow. When I went to New York, I didn't think my goal was to see Times Square at least once in my trip. I had no idea taking the subway in New York is so easy. I had no
awesome.
idea to see locations like this. It's super easy.
Well,
Yeah,
public transportation is amazing.
I know.
besides-
I mean,
Yeah.
Literally.
well, seeing Times Square, I told myself I wanted to see it at least once. Dude, everywhere I needed to go, I passed Times Square every single fucking time. I'm like, dude, I don't want to see it anymore.
It's like, I'm good now.
Fuck, okay, enough.
Biggest fear.
That deathbed regret. I think
Okay.
the
Deathbed.
biggest fear would be being on my deathbed and having any regrets about how I live my life.
Rena, do you have any regrets at all or no?
I've honest to God lived my life with no regrets so far.
Okay.
And it's a mindset shift though. There is shit that you go through where you're like, man,
course.
obviously I wish I didn't do that. I wish I
Yeah.
didn't pop my tire. Wish I didn't wish I didn't drive over that glass. But I've really taken the as I've gone through this health journey, this business journey, spirituality journey, I've shifted a lot of my mindset to focusing on energy. And the energy that you put out into the universe is also what you get back, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And so when I'm thinking about the shit that I've done, whether it's negative or positive, if I dwell on the past, it's not doing anything good for me. So the way that I see it is, rather than looking at these losses, as losses, I look at them as lessons. Yes, it sucks that XYZ happened to me. Yes, it's shitty that I bought that house with a pool on the roof, but I promise you I'll never buy another fucking house with a pool on the roof
ever again.
Right, so
in Florida.
Right, there you go. So losses turn to lessons, and yeah.
Any other questions?
Hey, but you made that into a W, though. You ended up figuring it out.
Yeah,
Damn right.
Now it's successful.
Well, you just started making more money.
There you go.
He's like, you know what?
I will say this though too, and this is an important point. I know nobody's asking me about this, but something that's been on my mind lately that I think with this whole hustle culture, like I think hustle culture is like a bullshit, right?
He says it all the
I
time,
agree.
yeah.
That's
What
I
is-
say
what
all
is
the
it?
time, yeah.
Hustle culture.
Hustle culture.
Yeah.
Right, like you see everybody that's like, hey man, just grind,
It's
like
just-
go in monk mode, go dark for
Yeah.
6 months and don't talk.
Yeah.
It's so unhealthy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of did it,
In
and
a mental
it's
state,
like,
yeah.
I kind of did it, but like I was also, resorting to, shit that I probably shouldn't have, because I was like, man, like I don't have anybody to talk to, and I need to be left alone, and I need to clear my mind and shit like that. But one of the things I will say regarding that is, a lot of young people watch my stuff. A lot of young people watch my social media. I encourage you to live life to the fullest. Like literally just live life to the fullest.
Damn right.
Everything that you do, go so fucking hard at.
baby.
That's what the brand's all about, baby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look at this bad boy.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Live life to the fullest, because you never know when it's going to end. I've had friends that have died, in the past couple of years that totally out of the blue, and I feel sick about it, because I know that they wanted to do more. I heard they would tell me about their goals.
Yeah.
They tell me about shit that they wanted to do, and they just stood on the sideline. So fucking go for whatever you want, whatever you want. Go as hard as you can for it. Try your hardest.
Bro,
That's
that's
awesome.
exactly what I was thinking right now too.
So you're getting a little emotional.
Yeah, no,
One
shit.
of our friends just got diagnosed with cancer like a couple days ago. So
Yeah.
It's horrible, man.
Best one of all
It
of us
sucks.
too.
that hit home for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fucking
So
Yeah.
do it to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck,
bro.
I love that. I
That's
appreciate
what the
that.
brand's all about,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
you
dude.
know what I'm saying?
Fuck.
Touche.
Well,
Well worded, man.
Okay, I have
think-
one
Yeah,
last
go ahead.
question that's super important. I think everybody's wondering the same thing. So if you can answer very quickly, that'd be great. Cats or dogs?
Cats or dogs?
I don't like either of them.
I knew it. I knew he was gonna say. I knew you were gonna
it's
say
funny because before the podcast we were like, most people are gonna say dogs, and now we had like a
Neither.
a neither.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it
I
here
love
first. You heard it
Yeah,
here
yeah.
first.
I
Now
think
we
that
He probably has a parakeet in the backyard.
You guys have a very keen.
you guys don't have a bald eagle?
Yeah, just casually in our place.
I do have one more question. It might be a longer question, but I'm just curious. Do you have any mentees that have already been very successful and hit that multi-million-dollar mark under your branch?
So I'm gonna have so there's two different ways. Yeah. So I am gonna have my first Airbnb millionaire student, Trent. He's from Denver, Colorado. He's gonna be hitting that millionaire mark at we're looking at like November this
Oh,
year.
wow.
Which is, so I've only been coaching though. I felt I didn't. My plan originally was not to coach. I was just doing Airbnb, and then I started
Yeah.
talking
How it
about it.
starts.
People were like, "Fuck, like."
You know how
we
to
want to
do
learn
it?
more about it. Yeah,
Tell
yeah.
me more.
I'm actually doing it, and so I'm like, okay, I'll just share my journey. So I've only been doing this for about a year and a half, maybe, in terms of coaching. But he actually he used multiple different methods to get there, because you can't just get to like that millionaire net worth status just by doing Airbnb in a year. But what he did was started making money on Airbnb, got 6 Airbnb arbitrage properties, then started learning about the whole real estate game in general, started doing fix and flips and crushing it. And so he'll keep the ones that are good for Airbnb, and he'll sell the ones that he'll want to flip, and he'll make $100,000, $60,000, $50,000. Go use people like myself. Like he's reached out to me the other day with a deal, and I'll supply him with money, right? He uses what's called OPM, other people's money, to fund his deals, and then you borrow it at an interest rate. I'll give him like a 10% interest rate for some, basically a damn near a construction loan. And yeah, he'll go use that and go fix his property, flip it, take some bread. So first Airbnb millionaire student. But I do have a club where we call it the $100,000 club, where we have, I think, so this is all of my students that have made or that do over $100,000 a year in revenue on Airbnb.
That's crazy.
And we have over 100 or 100. We're at like 105 or 106
A lot
now.
of people.
It's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really, the thing is with Airbnb, it's really not that difficult to get to that revenue number, because revenue and profit are different things.
Yeah, yeah,
The
100%.
profit is probably, on $100,000, you're looking at 20-30% cash on cash return, hopefully 30,000, 35, 40,000.
crazy.
Right, it's good. And but you can do that with one property.
Yeah.
$100,000 with one good property. And so that's why I always tell people all the time, you can replace your salary, you can replace your 9-to-5 income with 1 to 2 good Airbnbs. And it's not that everybody should go into the space of, hey, I want to do Airbnb full time, but how much better would your life be, and how much easier would you be, and how much stress would be relieved off your back if you knew that your food, your family, and your house was covered for the month with 1 to 2 properties. You could still do your job. You could still what you love to do every day. I hear this all the time from school teachers. We love teaching kids. We don't want to quit. You can do both.
Yeah,
you literally. And by the way, you have summers off. You can for sure fucking do both.
You got 3 months.
Yeah, you got 3 months.
You got a whole month of December too.
SoCal, it's high time out here in summertime.
Right. Yeah. So I encourage people, get even if it's if you think that Airbnb is not for you in terms of a full time thing, get 1 to 2 properties, replace that your monthly expenses with what I consider to be an asset, and yeah, you'll be good to go.
I love it. Any last words? Any last questions from everybody?
No, that was
good
it.
to go.
Say whatever you want here on the camera. Any last words for you, where they can find you, all that stuff.
Cool. First off, oh shit. First off, I want to eat this mic.
That's not a Blake Bowl, sir.
Yeah. No, not a Blake Bowl. I want to say thank you to these guys for allowing me to come on the property. I'm talking about Airbnb
mode, bro. Never ends.
Bro, you did Airbnb space.
99.1, we get it.
No, I want to say thanks to you guys seriously for letting me come on this podcast. This is an amazing studio you guys have built. The brand is blowing up around here, especially in our local community, and especially the time that you guys are spending here to blow this thing up. I told you I saw the brand at the beach.
You saw the hats at the beach.
I saw the
Just
green one.
yesterday.
Oh shit. Yeah, see, I'm telling you, in the
It
wild.
was Sunday.
It's
It was
natural
Sunday.
habitat.
Yeah.
So anyways, what you guys are building is amazing. I think the message is amazing. 3 amazing dudes, four amazing dudes. The guy behind the camera right here too. And if you want to follow me on Instagram or social media, my @ is MRFOURTOEIGHT, Mr. 4 to 8 spelled out. I'd love to connect with you. Shoot me a DM. And love to help you guys out. I'm going to continue to just keep making kick-ass content, showing you guys what is really possible, what you can build from starting with nothing, and ending up with, in the position that I'm at today.
Damn, I love it. Well,
Damn
Blake,
right,
thank you so
dude.
much.
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
You said you could reach out to him on DMs. It's called Guerrilla Marketing.
Yeah, DM me. Market me.
Just Guerrilla Market.
Send me gorilla emojis and I'll know you were sent from here.
So funny.
You'll know what it is.
Actually, yeah, do that. Send him gorilla emojis on the DMs, and he'll know it's from Life of Friends.
Awesome, guys.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. This is called Life of Friends podcast, presented by Vive the Brand. All we want to say is that if you could help one person listening, whether you got motivated, knowledge, got entertained, anything really, as long as you got something, that's all that matters. Thank you.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, y'all. See ya.
All right.
That's it.
That was good,
That was great. That was
Good
such a
shit,
good
man.
podcast. It was so good.